sometimes doctors will just prescribe or do maybe hydrochlorothiazide and see if that works to get blood pressure down without another blood pressure.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot.
You've seen that too?
Yeah.
Just that. In other words, keeping the fluid content, and that will work to lower blood pressure. It seriously will. But sometimes though, for many, they gotta have a little extra of something else. Have the blood pressure medication, the ACE inhibitor or something like that, plus the hydrochlorothiazide. Yeah. Right. That's cool. That's good. Good. That's good. All right. Well, anyway, now all this is tubular secretion. All this is, and then we're about through with the urination. We go over some terminologies, and we're done with it. We're done with it after this. And this is not a big deal. This right here, in some cases, this is tubular secretion. What this does, adds materials to the filtrate from the blood. You ought to think, this has always been kind of confusing. Tubular secretion, tubular secretion. Adding materials to the filtrate from the blood, and that's always a little confusing there, the way that's worded. But that's the way they talk about it, tubular secretion. But what that's doing is taking stuff out of the blood we don't need, that's going to hurt us, and putting it into the urine. That's basically what that's saying. That's a little confusing, but what it is, and the main thing is, it'll help get rid of, say, ammonia that was left in the blood, maybe some ammonia that didn't get out, maybe some hydrogen ions that need to be out of there, out of the blood. And I just gave one example of a drug, penicillin. Okay, and the penicillin. So tubular secretion. Tubular secretion works to rid the body of certain substances, obviously, control the blood pH by excreting hydrogen and ammonia, and conserving sodium bicarbonate. So in other words, this is going to definitely work to control the blood pH by getting rid of hydrogen, H+ ions. That's tubular secretion. So what is tubular secretion? Tubular secretion is taking some stuff that was left in the blood, like in the peritubular capillaries, left in the capillaries, and getting rid of it, putting it back into the urine. So that's what that has reference to. So that's all. That is all of that stuff. So much for that. Now we're going to talk about some of these physical characteristics of urine in the lab on Monday. I'm going to have a urine hydrometer. I'm going to get a urine sample myself on Monday morning. You don't have to do that. I'm going to get a urine sample, and I'm going to check the specific gravity of it. I'm going to check the specific gravity of it. I'm going to check my urine with a multisticks, and it'll let you see the normal urine, if it's got any blood in it, if it's got excess glucose in it. Then I'm going to stick my finger. I'm going to stick my finger and drip some blood in a urine in a urine sample, and then I'm going to put the stick in. I'm going to put some glucose in there. I get the glucose out of the micro lab, the dextrose or glucose, and I'm going to soup it up. I'm going to soup it up with blood and glucose, and let you see the response on the dipstick, on the multisticks. What they look for to do an initial check of stuff like that. All right, but anyways, the physical characteristics include color, odor, turbidity. We're going to talk about those in like normal urine normally it's clear, but it has kind of a slightly yellow color. It has a little bit of an odor to it, depending, it can be a gagging type odor, but it can be an odor that's not all that good, usually not really rank, but just a little bit of an odor. Turbidity, freshly voided urine should be clear. It becomes cloudy upon standing. You know why a freshly voided sample at the clinic is refrigerated if they can't use it immediately? You know that, Shasta. Yes,
For the smell?
No.
Like not ice?
No. It's actually done because refrigeration is bacteriostatic. Refrigeration will stop. There's going to be some bacteria in the urine. When you get a sample, you're supposed to get a midstream sample. But still, there's going to be some bacteria in the urethra. Now, if the urine is just left sitting out, it will get the bacterial generation time for those generation time means how long it takes the bacteria to undergo binary fission. About 15 or 20 minutes. Those bacteria, in the absence of cool temperatures, will start dividing, and the sample will get cloudy. So typically, though, on a healthy individual, turbidity means cloudiness. It should not be cloudy. It should be clear. A freshly boiled sample. And so these things are in. pH of it is right around 6.8, somewhere along in there. That's going to be somewhere in that neighborhood, maybe a little more seedy. But the pH of it, we'll mention that in lab. I didn't bring my book that mentions it. Specific gravity, I'll give you a number in specific gravity on Monday morning. Specific gravity can be translated to how many solutes are present. Now, if you have a bacterial infection, or blood in the urine, the specific gravity will be much higher. You follow me? So specific gravity typically has reference to what's in there. There's going to be specific gravity. Water has 1.0. Specific gravity of urine is about 1.056 to 2.0. It's going to be heavier than water because it's got some, quote, if you want to use this term, some solids in it, a little bit. So that's specific gravity. But now, specific gravity, if yours is way high, you could have a urinary tract infection. Because if you've got bacteria, and you know, if you've got a problem like that, a kidney infection, a bladder infection, there's going to be bacteria in the urine sample. So that's what specific gravity. And we're going to do that on Monday in lab. We're going to do all of this in lab, every bit of it. You're going to see this on Monday morning. All right, and then right here, some abnormal constituents included. We're going to check. Albumin is a protein. If you eat a big breakfast every morning, say you eat a great big breakfast, eggs and bacon and all this kind of stuff, and waffles and pancakes and etc. You eat a lot of stuff. Eat a big meal, then there might be some protein in the urine. And it doesn't mean you're abnormal. It doesn't really mean that. But normally, abnormal, if you've got a lot of albumins, albumin is the main protein that gives blood its viscosity, right? And then glucose, abnormal if the glucose is too high, obviously. Erythrocytes, blood. Leukocytes, pus in the urine. Leukocytes account for pus, pyuria. Blood is hematuria, pyuria. All right, glucoseuria, albuminuria. You know, so those are just terms that are all in the book. Ketones, ketonuria. You know, ketone bodies in the. That will be present in people that are diabetics a lot. Those things will really show up. All right, and then renal calculi. Renal calculi is another term for kidney stones, for stones. That's just another term for stones, calculi. And of course, again, you can find that in your book. And I'm just going over these terms, which we'll mention again in lab. We'll mention all these terms in lab where you can actually see a urine sample. Okay, so we'll do that at that point. Microbes. There's going to be some microbes in the urine. There's going to be a few microbes. But, you know, hopefully not a lot of E. coli, and hopefully not a lot of Pseudomonas, and hopefully not a lot of Proteus, and et cetera, et cetera. But there's going to be some microbes and bacteria. All right, now in clinical terms, I want to mention this to you. Anuria is absence of urination. You don't want that. Anuria is absence of urination. We're going to finish these terms real quickly and then go into the reproductive system. Anuria. Then cystectomy is a removal of the urinary bladder. Cystitis is inflammation of the bladder. Cystectomy is removal of the bladder. All right, and then right here, cystitis is inflammation. I've got a bladder infection. Cystitis is a bladder infection. This term right here, cystoscope, is a thing, I don't want them doing that. That's going up through the urethra and examining the bladder. No, we don't like that idea. All right, and then glomerulonephritis, that's the one that they use. The old medical term was Bright's disease. Coming from this old doctor named Bright back in the, I think when I was Googling it real early this morning, I think it was 1827. But in modern medicine, most of them don't use Bright's disease. They use glomerulonephritis or nephritis or just a kidney infection. All right, so for Bright's disease. All right, and then hematuria is blood in the urine. That's just blood. All right, and then incontinence. You know what incontinence is? Come on, what is incontinence? No? Can't control it. Yeah, incontinence, you know, like many times old people. Have you ever worked, any of you ever worked in a nursing home? Have you really? Have you worked in a nursing home?
I volunteered. My mom works there.
Oh, is that right? A lot of these, you volunteer over there, son? A lot of times, have you seen situations, or mom seen situations, these old people can't control urination?
More than lots of times.
More than